buildings, and it is nice and hot here in Finland. Let's go. Boom, baby, boom. Rise and shine. It's your morning motivation time. I see a handsome motherfucker across the way in my reflection, checking out the backyards where all the new houses are coming in. They're building a new track out here. My homie is sleeping. One of my good friends is sleeping. I slept over here at his house, but waking up and we got in the view and some internet access. So I figure I keep my commitments to going live, broadcast, even though I'm finding out about my broadcast. Apparently, I spit too much. I'm a spitter. Apparently, I'm grumpy in the morning when I'm talking about like some spiritual shit, and then I'll have somebody come past me with their dog, and I'll be like, "Get the fuck away from me! You're fucking up my vibe," type shit. So I'm human. I'm in my underwear, um, in my elements, and I'm having my morning motivation. And I wanted to talk about my interpretation of this show and why I do the show. I filmed my friend the other day because we've been talking about going live, and I just screen recorded. I know we didn't capture anything illegal, but the thing is, I've been trying to expand the show, including my friends into the show. Apparently, you can dual scope, just like we used to do in Periscope. I didn't know that was gonna go. Oh, that was my buddy sending me a message, and being able to do more of what works. And apparently, nobody wants to see my journey. Nobody wants to hear me go on for a half hour. People only have the attention span of a minute, and I need to start recording vertically instead of horizontally like I'm doing right now. It's one of those things where I have to learn and adapt and do things differently, and that includes keeping my commitments to this thing where I not necessarily want to. Like, I'd much rather just kind of give you a quick minute, go do my workout, and be done with it. And it's not necessarily like I want to be some kind of YouTube star. When I was dating my ex, she said that I was an Instagram influencer or something like that effect, and I didn't consider myself an influencer. I wasn't one of those captures where I do a face and try to get you to click, and then I get more clicks, and then I'm in competition with these people I never even met before, and I possibly watch their shows too. I was just being a beacon of light, broadcasting my light into the world in this awesome life that I have, and even though sometimes it's not awesome, reflect on those things too. It's hard to be the rah rah siskumba guy. I just did 100 push-ups. You should be pumped up too, and then have something like losing a child and keeping it real through the show, and even not doing the show. It's one of those things where it's like, do I even have a show? And yet some people watch it, but then like shout out to the 5 people that watch my show. But I'm not 5,000 people. I just got to 3,000 likes because of my hustle, and it took me forever to break that. I must have hovered at 2,973 for the past 3 years, and then just last trip I finally broke the 3K, and one of the ladies said, "Oh my God, you got so many followers," and I'm like, "Really? I don't see it that way." And then some people see it this way, as it's just some loser smoker, as my ex would say, that would just smoke weed. I don't have savings. I don't make particularly that much money. I wouldn't even say that I'm not even that popular. My friends know me, but I have only a few times that people like, "I've seen your show," and it was just like, "Oh shit, other people are watching." But what's really keying into me is me keeping my commitments to myself. It's one of the hardest things to do, is to keep a promise to yourself that you would always do your best, and put a good light forward. And this thing that I'm doing here is only for selling shirts. Like, I mean, that's my addiction, is to this shirt selling, and I'm a shirt addict, and I was like, I need 10,000 subscribers so then I could put a little what do you call it, a carousel of shirts underneath that you can purchase. So it's one of those things that I do all this to do that, not so some random person could see me in some random place and be like, "I've seen your show." I mean, I think some people seek that kind of adoration. I think some people seek that kind of attention, and it's not something that I do that for. I wanted the message to get out there. I could totally do this faceless with a mask on, and maybe it'll be more than just the beard going live. It'll be something where people are like, you're the mask, faceless motivator, aren't you? You know, and you never be spotted, and you don't have to worry about people identifying you or categorizing you or seeing how you are and certain things that you do in certain different lights. You know, it's weird to hear from other people, you know, oh, dude, you spit a lot. And you're always like, I wake up in the morning and I'm all by myself and my nose instantly starts dripping and I have to blow my nose like 3, 4 times every morning. No one's with you during those private moments, and no one's with you when you got something in the back of your throat and all you want to do is just spit it out like I just did, and then people are like, "Wow, I'm trying to watch your show," and there's my co-producer right there, Benny Mac. Thank you for getting on the show, and he was pointed out like, "Look, man, no one's gonna watch a half hour of your shit. You know, no one's got time for that, and you need to do it shorter." That's like I got loads of 1 minute videos, both horizontally and vertically, out there that I haven't even launched, all in my Google Drive, just going through these journeys. And sometimes I feel there's a minute, just a minute, not to interrupt my life, but to enjoy my life continually and just to capture a quick moment when the moments are being really cool. Like yesterday, I got to see my friend Jacob. I hadn't seen him in a hot minute. He was at the event. But he just smoked me out tough, bro. He had hash. He was shaking out the fucking keef. He was like, bro, I'm gonna fucking bake you out. And bless up to Jacob. He gave me some weed. He's the only person to give me weed on this whole journey. Everybody else selling me 20 euros a gram or 10 euros a gram. He just gifted it to me and said, man, you're like family, B. I remember when you were here at my mom's house and we used to smoke and shit like that. And I was like, damn, bro, I remember you being outside this school telling me how you used to go to school. And it's just so cool to have these friends that are still here and see how their lives transpire after 10 years. You know, some of them collected kids, some of them collected divorces, some of them went to prison, some of them are still in prison, some of them have traveled, and some of them are new to me. And it's just this part of this journey that I'm on that I don't really fully understand. You know, I thought my trajectory was just build the business, get more successful, have some children, and launch into the atmosphere. And lo and behold, life comes in and takes that out. And I think that's the coolest part about my shows. This is like a realness, you know, like a realness of when I really do have depression or really am overweight or really don't feel like super motivated. I'm like have to keep it real with people so that way when they're in that moment, just like I am or was or whatever, they watch the episode and they get strength from somebody that shows their strength, that I expose my weaknesses and idiosyncrasies and things that happen to me like sneezing and spitting and yelling at random strangers on the street. I'm not yelling at them, but I'm discomforted by this kind of peace and quiet where the sunshine's coming into the wall into the what do they don't call these this is a balcony, but we would call it in America with the windows like this. I don't know what to call this we would call these atriums, I guess. I don't know what you call it, but it's not to this thing that I just picked up randomly because I was periscoping, and now it becomes a YouTube thing. And then if I was really competitive, I would have to do it dual times because then I would do it on my Instagram live and on my YouTube live. And it's just a whole competition that I think I'm not that interested in competing. You know, I'm a competitive person, so of course I want to be successful, but I don't want to be some meme on a thumbnail so someone could click it so I could be more successful and someone else could measure me. I had someone say it the other day. I tried looking up your YouTube and you only had 1,200 followers, and I was like, it took forever to break 1,000. These are real followers. I didn't have to purchase my followers, and then I have 3,000 followers on Instagram. And to measure someone just by their followers and say, what kind of influence do you have? What kind of reach do you have? I don't know. To the 2 people that are watching right now out of the whole world, not very much. And I kind of like just saying my words and smoking my spliffs and getting my thoughts out in the morning. It keeps me me motivated, keeps me to say stuff to myself, that kind of positive mantras that keep me in the game of life and keep me pursuing the things that I said I was going to pursue. It's one thing to just say it, it's a different thing to be about it, and it's a different thing to risk it in front of people too. You're gonna have people that judge you. You're gonna have people that are gonna miscalculate you. And, oh, I got a big beard, so people are gonna have stereotypes, and that's what we were talking about too, where people are like, you're a terrorist, or maybe it's an attention getter. Maybe it brings in the milfs more, and my that's what the statistics say. When I'm looking at the algorithms, it's like single moms, really love beards and muscular dudes, and I trend heavy towards that. But you don't know what you trend heavy towards, right? When you're out there and you're exposing yourself, you don't know who's going to pick up your book, you don't know who's going to pick up your shirt, you don't know who's going to subscribe to your channel, you don't know what they're about or why they're even doing it. It was one of the biggest shocks in my life to have people identify me when I was doing my Weed for Vegas magazine. And sure, I was doing 10,000 copies a month, and sure, I was pushing it hella hard, and sure, I shouldn't have been surprised that people had seen the hard work because I was getting out there and pushing the shit. But then you are there and you're like, this is my shit. And how people interpret your shit is not up to you. You're not in control of your reputation. I know a lot of people try to control their reputation, or they try to control their ego and show face or save face and show a different face to the world. And I'm like, mask off, fuck it. I'm Saints Addiction. I'm mostly Saints, bro. I'm almost a saint. But when I take this thing off, I'm a guy that gets spits, sneezes, and is uncomfortable around dogs. I'm like not uncomfortable around dogs. I love dogs. I'm saying like, uh, I guess I don't want loose dogs in the park when they're supposed to have a leash kind of person, because you never know, they're out of control, and no one can instantly get control over their dog because things get out of control. And I wanted to talk about that in broader terms to people. And I knew I was saying a lot, so it would take almost every day to chop up and dissect all this psychology and all this philosophy that I have in my mind. And I might not be right, I might be wrong most of the time. It's part of the human experience, and that's what I've been keeping my commitment to this, because my human experience is changing. Right now, I got one last week here in Finland, and it's off to the races. I'm only 12 minutes deep in this conversation already. The two people that are watching me are not watching me anymore. So it's one of those things where I mainly talk to myself. I'm getting these thoughts out there to the world, and maybe somebody will look at it one day, and hopefully someday it starts trending, and then people will look at this or or I don't know, what do I plan on getting out of it? And that's the conversation I really had to ask myself is, as I keep my commitments to myself and to this YouTube, it just so happens that I go live. It just so happens that I'm an extrovert. It just so happens that I don't mind talking to myself or seeing myself on a camera. Um, is it my ego? Is it my ego that needs to be validated, that it needs people to watch me to say that I'm successful at life or I've done something with my life? I'm not quite sure. Of course, it takes a part of it, because obviously everyone has an ego. As I pick at my toe and get part of that sensation away from me, I ask myself, when I'm not picking at my big toe live on a show, you know what image am I portraying out there, and then how much control I have over that image is so small, it's so insignificant. I'm only got one person watching right now, and it's like that out of the 8 billion people that are on this planet isn't enough to really make a dent, but maybe it's enough to track my situation at life. It's like I've done enough in my life to push myself in directions I never thought I'd be. I never thought I'd be here in Finland. I know, like, it was small. How many people from Vegas have come to me, and maybe less than 5 people out of the 8 billion? It's such a small percentage. And how many people actually pack up their whole lives and travel? How many people have actually been to South Korean prison? How many people risk entrepreneurship and failure, and to do it live on camera? That's all I'm doing. I'm just exposing my life. I knew that something was going to happen because so much energy was happening. I was going to South Korean prison, and after that I was like, just follow me around with the camera, because my life is on another level. So the ego has you believe that your life is on the other level. I travel and I see other world travelers. There's nothing special. Everybody's got a credit card and can swipe it and go. But not everybody makes a commitment to their lives. And that's why this thing is so motivational. Is like you got to get your motivation on. You got to get yourself to do the things that you kind of had a little bit of a spark in your brain. It's not something that you never thought you would do because then those things don't reach your brain. I'm talking about secret whispers, secret Whisper Unlimited. Shout out to my boy who started his own brand. Um, Ryan Burris, shout out to you, bro. But that kind of whisper that the universe starts to tell you, I listened to it. It was about 10, 15 years ago now, and I was sitting there on the beach in Thailand, and I'm like, I'm so happy. How do I keep this going? How do I outsmart this situation and make myself uh, um, keep this happy? How do I keep this happy? And the happy part was just that I was on a fresh island and there's fresh water and I was away from a lot of human beings. There was a few human beings I just wanted to hang out, but I was healthy. I was ready to do the work. I had this amount of energy in me that I wanted to express, and I guess that's what this show is an amount of energy when you want to express yourself. I mean, I could be in there brushing my teeth, I guess, or showing people me do workouts or whatever else, that's not as important. You don't need to watch my life like that. I wouldn't watch the life like that, but I would listen to somebody that has traveled the world and has become an entrepreneur or has become anything that they decided they wanted to be. So I didn't have it right then and there. That's the key. I think a lot of people are expecting you to hit the millions and then you're successful. Well, the millions never come. I didn't think anybody wanted to watch the process of starting from nothing and becoming something. And that's when I started to do this thing with my life and started to record it and be exposed to people's opinions or show my nose running or me smoking weed or doing anything. Just this is my life, and I exposed myself to showing people my life. Let's bless up real quick. And of course, your online life isn't exactly your real life. A lot of people will pre-edit their lives, where they're just like, quick, let me put makeup on before I go live. And I just wanted to live my life. I didn't want to um, put any sort of parameters on it or try to shade my shit. You know what I'm saying? I thought it would be stronger of a message for someone that gets on here with his shirt off, out on the balcony, smoking weed from Las Vegas to Finland. What would be interesting about that? And that's the thing. It's like you got to keep people's interest if you're going to get the numbers. And if you really don't care if people are interested, then what are the numbers? So it's kind of one of those catch 22s where I need the 10,000 subscribers, but I don't care if all 10,000 subscribers like, follow, or share. I just need the number to unlock the Google merch shelf. And that's what happens to commitments. It's like I made a commitment to myself to always do my best. I took on the LL Cool J challenge and constantly get up in the morning. And sure, sometimes I feel like just sitting in the bed and not doing all. But with less than 10 days now, 9 days and counting, almost a week left in Finland, how do I get the most out of my life? And it's pushed me. It's pushed me to keep doing things where normally depressed me would want to just sit there, maybe wank off to some porn, smoke some weed, get my free dopamines, my synthetic dopamines, and call that happiness. And then it was like, how do I find real happiness? And you're on a journey for a guy that screams, "I love my life" to the top of his lungs, and then have something like lose the life of a child. Um, how do I keep doing motivational things? How do I keep going on and trust and believe? There's a fight in me before I had a YouTube channel. There was me wrestling and not wanting to lose to a guy that I beat so easily last time. And I had to fight off my back 3 different times in front of the home crowd, my hometown in Boulder City, in front of all my peers and my teammates. There was no way I was losing to this kid. He had me fucked up. So that made it to the newspapers. And it's like, I'm a fighter. I fight for things in my life. I remember going down in high school along the gate. I'll never forget. Headed home, and I was like, is there anything to it? If you try hard now, Mark, if you get up at 5 a.m. and start doing wind sprints in the morning, I became one of the fastest people on the team. start bulking up for football, start racing, start wrestling. I started to compete with myself and others, and it gave me a buzz, bro, that I could have some control out of my life where I didn't have control over my life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that much control in my life because my father was an alcoholic. I could blame him, but it gave me a my mom being bipolar, it gave me a weird upbringing where I basically brought myself up. I didn't get anybody, uncles or dads, to really give me any advice. So now I got to be an emotional guy in a world where you're not supposed to be an emotional guy. You're supposed to be an alpha, a player, a killer. And part of me likes that about manhood, and then part of me is like, I'm also a stoic, a philosopher, an empath, a person that feels empathy for other people and wants other people to succeed. And I love my friends, I love my life, I love my mom, my dad. I'm trying to work on loving my dad. I got daddy issues, just like most of these hoes. So that turned me into a hoe. I don't know. I wish I had more skill sets. I wish I'm more refined. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. But you're tuning into a flawed man who said, Saints addiction. I'm an honest sinner. You know, I didn't want to get on this thing and pretend that I'm just a winner. I think a lot of people do that on Instagram, where it's all wins. There's no L's. And to expose my life and to show all the L's that I took, investing 50 grand in a business, putting 12 hours a day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. for 10 months and not succeed, and then for them to steal my equipment, loser. To go to prison for 6 months in a South Korean solitary confinement over 3 grams of weed, loser. You know, but then I want to go, oh, let me wave my accomplishment flag. Let me tell you that I've been to Machu Picchu. Let me tell you that I've been to the Great Wall of China. Don't look at all these losses. And I didn't want to be that type of person where they don't talk about their losses. And if it's such an ingredient to success, most successful people that I've watched, when I took some Harvard online classes and I was watching these entrepreneurs, the guy that created QuickBooks and his wife was struggling at the coffee table and how he almost went bankrupt and now it's a $4 billion company. People only want to talk about $4 billion company, not him not eating meals and not spending on speakers so they could afford to develop this thing called QuickBooks. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody does. Just like my spiritual mentor Terry Prince said, they'll look at 40 years of hard work. I'm 43 now, and look at that hard work and be like, oh, it's an overnight success. People told me that they would wish they had a business that they could travel. They ask me those questions all the time. How do you make an income? How much money do you spend a month? I wish I could do to sell shirts and go around the world. Do you? Do you wish or do you work? Because I'm in the middle of my vacation, if you will, but I'm still hustling. I still got my shirts. I'm still making designs. I'm still taking orders, and I'm still trying to make an income so I can continue on this journey. I don't have a fairy godmother. I've had a fairy godmother before, but I even got to pay her back a long time ago. There's nobody sprinkling money into my account. I have to go earn it just like everyone else. I guess I am an anarchist, like I was brought up, you know, where I'm driving the car and you're not supposed to drive, it's illegal. My co-producer actually looked it up online and let me know that I was not doing something legal. Yeah, also PG-13. And when the little kid comes up and he's 10 years old and he's like, are you a YouTuber? And he ran home to get my YouTube. I don't really have content I want a 10-year-old to be watching. I mean, the teacher in me, the wannabe father, isn't trying to corrupt the youth by having them smoke weed. Two, finding another addiction is the better addiction than alcohol, I believe. But I find people are going to follow patterns anyway, and I don't want to be a part of a new pattern. I want them to be a part of a successful pattern. I want me to be a part of a successful pattern. Waking up and getting after your life. The theme was to add more time on my heart, more time to start, more time to get up earlier and get that workout and get in tune with my body and my environment, and so that I'm a better version of myself. So by the time I get to see friends I haven't seen in a long time, I'm vibrating the light that I know is inside of me. This vibration, this universe I don't get to talk about so often, but there's so many things out there. There's so many people that have loving their life. And also this beautiful day, I'm looking out at the baby blue skies and the clouds and the trees, and birds are flying by and they're chirping, and I'm like, yes, life. There's somebody else right in this same apartment building, not looking outside of their window, not looking at their life, and they're not happy. So I'm reaching to those people. The guy that was me when I was counting the popcorn in the ceiling, and I didn't care if the building was going to catch on fire. I knew then that I needed to travel. I knew then that I needed to give my fucking life a chance. This is before I even had Saints Addiction, before Mostly Saints, before any of my print stuff. I was a depressed guy, overweight, going to work every day, 14, 16 hours a day, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. I would go on Sundays because I didn't have much of a life. You wouldn't want to watch that show. I promise you, it's just me hanging out at the fucking car shop, smoking weed on a Sunday, seeing if anybody would come on the lot. And if they came on the lot, I'd pop them up. I say, hey, I got some cold. Hey, I'm with the marketing team. I can't discuss prices today, but if you want a cold water, I'm over there. I'm answering questions, and that's what I did. Monday through Sunday, bro. I just sold cars, and soon, you know, the late night coke binges on the weekends, and sometimes during the weekdays, so bad that my nose would drip and hit my work paper right next to my boss. I can't believe I was a cokehead. Now I'm around these things and I see people snort speed, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And coke is hit in Finland. It's a big deal for people looking for happiness, and I'm here happy on the balcony, just free with my shirt off. I love in my life with the baby blue skies, and feeling comfortable. And that was also the thing that I have to fight against, is this comfort. Thank you, Miss Virtue. Is that of course I want to be comfortable, just like you want to be comfortable. You want to be in a house that you own, and the things that you want are around you, and you got Netflix and chill, and your girl's bringing the popcorn, you're rubbing on her booty. That's a comfortable life. And something in me still challenges that, where it's like, okay, I'm about to get comfortable here in Finland. I want to stay another month, but the clock has ticked. Now I got less than 10 days, 9 days that I have to leave, 7, and then a week I'll be gone, on to Berlin, back onto the grind of a big city like London, back on the grind of learning a new transportation system, and going live on my phone, and trying to do morning motivations, and not trying, doing morning motivations, and capturing these moments of me rushing around when I really don't know where I'm going, and I really should be concentrating, and I tend to go live like I do when I'm driving, and trying to capture these really fucking cool moments. It's insane. My buddy's like, get an extendo like thing and selfie stick and put a fucking GoPro 360 so you can capture that beautiful sunset driving down through Helsinki during the summer. It was gorgeous, and the people out, and that whole, man, I wish there was a whole drone following me. It was just gorgeous, right? So yeah, part of this stuff is stuff that should be covered, and maybe that's the reason I've earned my live status on YouTube. You got to get the 1,000 subscribers just to go live. Most people aren't willing to do that work, and I'm telling most people with this form of communication, social media, to say, hey man, get off this fucking phone. Get off your fucking phone. Put that fucker down. Go out into the fresh air. Get yourself into something, a new vibe, and see if you can't change your vibe. See if you can't pick a mood by decision and pick a life by decision. And then you got Saints Addiction. Then you literally were the guy that gave up his comfort zones, risked it for the biscuit, and and quit his addictions so I could get to my saintly self, so I could see the light of life, and feel it inside myself. And again, so it's just one of those things that I just encourage people not to live their lives on a gadget, not to live their lives inside, not to be planted in front of a screen, but to really get that light of life, to really fucking go and say, yeah, man, I am connected to nature. I am connected to my family. I am blessed, and start reflecting in that sort of vibration, and tone, and start jogging your memories up, and start getting your brain to fire in a positive direction. You got to engage your brain and just keep ticking it with some positive mantras and positivity and vibrations, and get to where you're getting yourself, instead of talking down to yourself or trying to fucking keep yourself in the same spot and keep doing the same shit. That's my morning motivation. If you got anything out of it, like, share, and subscribe down below. And as always, Chi Gatan. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. I am in Finland. This is Finland right out here. It's a beautiful day. I'm gonna get out into it. Look, birds are flying around. You know, sun is shining. The leaves look all shimmery. Some poor dude's on a fucking crane working in the hot ass sun. Like, I'm over here with my shirt off, smoking weed, making my dreams come true. I want that guy to be able to do the same. And just like anyone else in any radius and world around me, I want you to be able to shape and mold your life in a positive direction and in the person that you truly are. That would be dope of a wish. So, emoji cons, reach, preach, and teach. It's your boy Mark saying I'm out. Peace and love. Go out there, use the love.